Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in the spirit of talking about audit, today I thought I'd just go ahead and do a video about how I managed to study and work at the same time in audit. Okay, so I've got 6 things that made it possible. So I'm going to go through those and hopefully some of these will really be useful to you. If you do have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments and I will respond to you as fast as I can. Okay, so the first thing is that when I joined one of the big 4 firms back home in Zimbabwe, I joined with almost maybe 10 or 15 other people who were also coming from high school, who also, kind of did the same subjects, who came from similar backgrounds and everything. So these were literally real peers who, with time, became friends. So, having people at the same stage as you are is so useful because something as simple as someone walking into the office one day and saying, "Hey guys, have you opened your modules? Hey guys, have you seen the topic on impairment or whatever?" It really seriously got you going. Like you would be like, "Okay, I haven't even unpacked my modules. I need to get going." So working with people who are at the same level was so useful. And the good thing is that because we were so many of us, we all had varying levels of knowledge or strengths and whatever it was. So they were like the boffins in the group. The guys were really clever. And then there were also those who weren't as clever as the other guys. So it was really easy for you to kind of fit into anyone. And it was so good. And the fact that we also had peers, a lot of the times we would have like little study groups or discussions and so forth. And it would really help. Even if it was just sitting there and listening to people talking, it was so useful. So I think having peers and people that you start off with is so good because unlike in other companies, like doing another route of audit whereby you go into industry, you might be the only one who's literally studying that degree, the accounting degree. And so you don't have that push, you might not have that motivation. So having peers who are also at your same level, I think is really useful. Okay, then the other thing is we had organized lectures. So because we're in an accounting firm, they are heavily supportive of the program we were studying. So compared to, like, for example, you going to work for a supermarket, whatever it is, and studying, your accounting degree might not have any interest to the company you're working for. So therefore, they might not create an environment for you to excel. So this is one of the great things I enjoyed about being at an accounting firm, is that they put certain mechanisms in place to help you to pass. So one of those things was organized lectures. So in my previous video, I did mention that I studied with the University of South Africa, also known as UNISA, and that was long distance. Okay, they call it open distance learning, which is ODL. I can also make a video on that as well. And so what would happen is that the people who are responsible from the firm and other firms actually, which was really good, would actually communicate with the lecturers from UNISA and get lecturers to come to Zimbabwe on particular days and lecture. So that was really awesome because all we would do is they would hire out a particular hall, and I think they is the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Zimbabwe. So they would hire out a hall and all the firms would be invited, or anyone who's doing the accounting degree, and you could go there and you'd actually be given time off work, to go for that lecture because it would happen during the day, during the week. So that was so awesome because if you're in another company or another organization, whatever it is, they might not understand that you need to go for a lecture. They will only allow you to go, of course, in your own time, meaning after work or if it's on a weekend. So we could literally actually go during a week, during the week. So that was really useful. Those lectures really helped. And they were also just fun because you then meet up with lots of other people from accounting firms And that's even more motivation, because you would sit in that lecture room, and then as the lecturers would ask questions, or whatever, other people would interact, and that would also give you that boost, like, oh my goodness, I don't know this, so I'm behind. So that was really awesome. And then the third thing that also helped was online support. And online support is coming from the UNISA side. So they had quite an interactive website for the students. Probably interactive is not the best, but resourceful, maybe, website. So, in other words, this website, had like past papers, it had your timetable, it had soft copies of the modules you needed. I think it had things like frequently asked questions and answers to those. Um, you know, yeah. And that's where you also got your results for tests and everything. So I really did find that site so useful. And what I actually found it the most useful was slides. So, for example, the lectures I mentioned before, what they would usually do is then upload the slides from the lecture onto that site. So if you couldn't make it, you can then use them, or even if you did make it and you want to refer back, you can go ahead. And for me, slides were so useful for me because they were in summary format, and I really made use of them. So I'd always download those and use those. So the online side was perfect. And then the fourth thing was they had adequate material. So all the material you needed, you were provided with. So the modules would be sent via like some sort of, I don't know, they would send them, and you would get them, we would get them in our country, collect them from like a central point, and you'd have them all. The prescribed textbooks you would have to buy, but they were never difficult to find because we were in a community, and so things were easily made available. So that also made it quite good. And then another thing, which I would almost put it at number one, that helped me to study and work at the same time, was the generous study leave days that we got from the firm. So, apart from the vacation or leave days you get from your company, like your normal 25 days or whatever those are, on top of that, we would get study days for us to just go home and study. So I promise you, this made a whole world of a difference for me, because during the days when I was working, this is my personal experience, I would struggle to finish work and go home and read effectively. I mean, there would be days when I'd try, but on an overall basis, it was really hard for me to really focus. And then, even if I tried that thing of waking up in the morning to read, yeah, that would work for one day, and then the rest of the days would just be a complete write off, because I'll just be like, oh, I need to sleep, you know. So that so those leave days that we were given were magical, because I would personally make so much use of them. Like, literally, I would not leave the house. I would just stay at home and read and study, and it was so good because I wouldn't be tired from like working and everything, and you'd have so many leave days, and it would be so useful. Okay. And then the last thing, which I thought was really useful in my journey of studying and working at the same time, was supportive family. So whenever I'd had to study, and especially during the leave day period, like the days when I'd be on study leave and everything, for example, my mom would literally just be like, you sit, don't worry about doing chores and stuff like that. You just sit and you read. And that's what I would have. So that's why I even say those study days were so beneficial, because even at home, the family created that environment for me to study. And people would try to be quiet, but yeah. And talking about creating an environment to study, even the Institute of Chartered Accountants would also have like a study room where you could actually go and study. So that was also useful. And even at work, we would have so many days when we would actually just stay over and read. in the office. And sometimes this might not be possible in other jobs because you don't have anywhere private or quiet you can go. Whereas, like in an audit firm, you have so many meeting rooms, so many cubicles. It's so perfect. So, guys, this is what I found to have been useful for me to study and work at the same time. If you do have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them below. Please go ahead and like and subscribe so that I can continue making videos like this. Until next time, bye.